you went to a course this weekend here at Braziers called about winter herbal medicine.
Yeah.
Medicines. So can you tell me a bit about what you did, how it was?
Yeah, it was great. It was, we made lots of different medicines out of just our local herbs and plants outside in Braziers. We went for walks. We made cough syrups, chest balms. We had a tea tasting where we really got to bond with a plant through taking about 15 minutes to really taste and smell and feel where the energy was flowing, and really take it really slowly and really appreciating one plant, and then we kind of shared our experiences. That was really insightful. And what else did we do?
Well, I mean that sounds like it. That's good. So you said as well about sharing experiences, and like Braziers is a lot about how people come together and the learning process that helps. And you said that it was very insightful. Can you talk a bit more about how, like, the fact of doing this course in a group, how that helped the whole, or maybe added to the experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been a completely different experience had I done it on my own, because a lot of the wisdom as well didn't actually just come from the teacher. It came from us all sharing our own experiences, what was growing in our own gardens. Someone had an app of identifying plants that they shared, and so we started using that together. And each of the plants, someone seemed to have a story around them and what they'd used them for or where it had grown, and yes, there's all kinds of nuggets of information that kind of came from the group coming together, going on a walk together, and talking about the plants. So it was very much a collective experience, not just like a didactic teacher just telling us information. And I think actually that was a big part of the enjoyment of the, because it felt like a collaborative meet up rather than so that's how the teaching was quite a different style.
And how about doing it here at Braziers? Can you comment on because you've been living here, and so how was it doing in this community setting?
Well, there's a sense of familiarity, and I think it just it really kind of, I think it's quite nice to have a reminder of embodying one of the purposes of this kind of community is to educate and to live more sustainably, and I think this helped to reinforce that. I think it reminded me of what was available in our grounds, and I think it helped to give tools to connect to the plants and to really so having this around, this setting is really powerful, and I think it's nice having the ethos of this place to support these more holistic kind of courses. It didn't feel like it felt very much integrated as part of the ethos of this place, as opposed to something external,
something random.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, you talked about sustainability, and you said earlier about having using things that are accessible, like in our gardens and stuff. So, like, to me that screams like, there's big implications of that if we think about overconsumption and stuff. Like, what are your thoughts on that, about a course like this? What kind of implications can it have for the people who take it, and then how they go about their lives afterwards?
Well, I think lots of different implications. One around, I think helping us to stop and to look a bit more at everything around us, because these plants that we were identifying are not kind of in some rural, settings. They're everywhere. They could be on the road, curbsides and everywhere. So I think it's helping. I think a more subtle implication would be to stop and to look and to connect a bit more, like to make these into teas and to experiment and to try and to listen to our bodies more through taking these teas and experimenting and trying out how nature, and also I think to connect to nature's cycles. So a lot around connection to our environment around us, and I think when we connect, then we have a deeper sense of care as well. So I think that kind of automatically reflect perhaps in, I don't know how it will in the future, but potentially in how we care for our environment and our own practices and what we do and how we live. So, and then I think the other part of it is knowing that it's so accessible. I think that kind of and how this lady who runs the course was really trying to get it into have community farms, community gardens where you could perhaps have so use it as a way of getting community together, because she was sharing how it's nice to harvest together. So perhaps that might be something where some of us end up doing. We might end up creating some of these groups in the future.
Yeah, that's great. It's
so
like
it's planting seeds, I guess.
And kind of making you feel like capacitated to make things, and instead of like going out and buying them, and also like you say, getting together with others
and sharing. And so I think, and doing it in the natural way, I think once you learn how a plant works, very different to a kind of a synthetic chemical, a lot more synergistically, I don't know if that's a word, in synergy. Lots of different parts of the plants will work together in synergy. So I think knowing that, then it might be more, you might want to try that more than just taking a pill.
And then that's kind of like a nice metaphor for like the synergy that through this we might feel with nature as well. Like we're
the tea experience was really profound actually, because there's so many different flavours to just this one plant that she told us about at the end. And I thought, and she was sharing that when she studied each plant, they would have to like dance with the plant and meditate with the plant and really spend a whole day with this plant to draw it and really get to bond with it so that they could relate to it, and then that would also determine how they would kind of work with it. And I think that was really powerful, because I was thinking, if I go on my walk and you can watch how plants change over the seasons and build your own relationship. And I think it gets you really present, and I think that's really important as well.
Nice. Thanks.